out there. Take things a little more relatable to boxing now and to line things up. I mean, you really got into your boxing
Yeah.
training this past year.
Yeah.
Give me, if there's one important lesson boxing has taught you that you want to
Mm.
share with others, well, what is that?
Boxing has done a really good job of proving my resiliency to me. I think that it takes a very strong individual to take something seriously. It's proven to me that I can start from ground zero and I can get good at something. And I hadn't done that in a long time. I think like post high school or post college for some people, like our capacity for learning becomes very, very short. Like there's no longer education unless you seek it out. And boxing kind of reminded me, it humbled me more than anything, that starting from ground zero is kind of the coolest thing ever. Watching the progress, having the sessions that I hate so much where we don't even throw the gloves on because we're shadow boxing the entire time because we need to focus on the basics and we need to hone in and solidify the things that we've worked on before. It kind of it forced me to step back for a second, humble myself and say, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. I need you to show me. I need to be taught. I'm interested in learning. I'm receptive. I'm open. And then it also taught me resiliency, that when shit gets tough, when I'm tired, when we're on round 10 and you're going to make me hit the heavy bag, and we've already done our shadow boxing and our mitt work, and I'm drenched in sweat, and it's me and 20 stinky men inside of a hot ass boxing gym, that I'm resilient and I am fucking strong. And I show up for myself in ways that I used to wish other people would show up for me. So boxing is humbling, but it's also the epitome of strength and resiliency.
I was gonna say like I'm sure everybody could relate to this. I think if you just use the boxing example, right? Like think about the feeling of a loss. We've both lost before, right? As amateurs,
Mm-hmm.
we both lost. So like talk about facing you, right? Like you're on the train heading home, or you're in the car driving home, and here you are having to face your shortcomings while you lost. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's harder
Mm-hmm.
than the fight. Like, it's the personal stuff, the personal development stuff, facing you. I think those they're the hardest things, but like we said before, they're the most rewarding things. And I think it'd be great if
Mm-hmm.
we encourage not just other people, but leading by example, like you do, man. Like talk about master mentality. It goes far beyond just doing things. It's important to also practice looking into you and trying to be better, and not just always trying to do better, so to speak.
Yeah, no, it's as simple as sitting down in front of that mirror, writing down in a journal, like how do I feel today? Why do I feel today? And if I don't like how I'm feeling, what are the things that I can do right here, right now to change those? As
Right.
simple as that. And then it branches off into these incredible things that we can do, whether it's an actual fight, Golden Gloves, professional boxing match, climbing Everest, climbing Kilimanjaro, doing ayahuasca ceremony. It leads into that, but it all starts with just sitting there and having that conversation with yourself. The final question, man, just to wrap this up, one lesson that boxing has taught you that you want to share with others.
One lesson that boxing has taught. That's man, it's hard to say, right? Because there's a lot of good ones in
There's
there,
so many.
right? There's a
Yeah,
lot of good ones in there.
no, yeah.
Um,
Could be light, could be deep, don't matter.
yeah,
Just what pops up in your head.
I think, man, I'm gonna have to go back to what I mentioned earlier, man. I think adversity is a great teacher, and I think boxing, that's the greatest lesson that boxing has given me. It's that it's good for you to do some hard things. You should be a little uncomfortable. You you should be reaching farther than you can grab sometimes, right? Like, and that's what I think is the best lesson that I hope others would get out of boxing, is that through doing intentional hard things, intentionally putting yourself. And when I say hard things, it could be as simple as doing a hard workout, right? Like that is good for you. It doesn't mean that you have to go in there and spar somebody. You know, just doing something that's difficult, I think, is great for you. And I think that's the greatest lesson boxing has taught me, to lean into hard things, that they're good for me.
Damn. Yeah. And again, one small little hard thing, as in doing a boxing workout, leads into you actually competing at an
You see what I'm
amateur
saying?
level,
Yeah.
which leads to you competing to a professional level, which leads to you doing these crazy, self-seeking adventures. Like,
Or it could just lead to
incredible,
you doing the
bro.
public speaking event that you were always scared to do. Like it's funny, man. I see people. I know you see it as a trainer as well, man. Like working with people over the years as they go through their boxing journey, you see how it spills out into their lives, right? Like it's not just that they get better at boxing and it stays in that little vacuum. It's like they get better at life as they get better at boxing. They learn to confront
Hmm.
things that they were scared of, or etc. Right? So yeah, you're right. It bleeds
Hmm.
out of your life. It's an amazing
Hmm.
thing, man.
Amazing. And then that's why we preach it to and share it with others, man, because there's so much more to it than just fighting, than
Yeah,
just throwing
it's
hands
such
with
a small
somebody. And
portion
that
of it.
is, yeah, it all in together for me now. We'll take it back to boxing. What brought us together? You great, amazing life, highs and lows, crazy journey you've had. Took you from Oakland to Brooklyn, back to LA. What has boxing taught you that's kept you in this game, that has significantly benefited you, not in the ring but outside of it?
That's a good question. I feel like I could literally write an essay about what boxing has done for me. Boxing is literally why I'm in the career I'm in today. It's why I have the mentality that I have. Boxing has taught me that I can do hard things. I can get through any obstacle, any challenge, and know that I can stand back on my 2 feet and keep it moving. There's nothing that I cannot get through. It might be challenging. It might take a long time to heal, but I can get through it. Like I said, my first fight was not about being, a big world champion. It was literally about standing in front of something that I'm fearful of around people that are spectating with opinions and being able to just show out and do my thing and tune out the noise. And that's what I try to live by to this day is like tune out the noise, fight through whatever obstacles, live out the highs, like you said. The if I land a punch, great. If I get hit, all right, move your head, get back into the fight. It's taught me so much about getting through hard times. And it translated big time in motherhood, getting through two pregnancies, deliveries, postpartum, all that stuff. It's gotten me through my marriage. Just like it's a challenge. I can get through it. And then I'm going to have some highs with that. And I'm going to keep dodging and moving until every win, until I get the wins.
Why I do the things. That's why we do this podcast. That's why we do put out the content that we do. That's why that's my passion, is showing people that boxing has changed my life. Again, I don't have no national tournament championships. I've never won no belts, but boxing has changed me for the better. That I literally think that it could change everybody for the better out there, and that's why I show that, and it's brought us together, and done so much for it, and it translates to everything in life, just like baseball translates to everything in life for you. Taking it back to boxing, my final question for you with that, boxing has taught you so much. What is it that it taught you that you want to share with others?
Well, one thing was definitely discipline. A whole nother level of discipline. You can't be boxing and not be. I wouldn't say in shape, but I would say you wouldn't last long training with you for. I mean, well, how long do we train for? Sometimes we train for like 30 minutes sometimes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like there's days where I like don't I stayed up late and not in a great shape and I could barely last 10 minutes because boxing is so taxing on the body and you really got to focus and be prepared to kind of go through it when you're boxing. So I would say discipline is one thing that I learned, and sometimes we fall off of being disciplined. Just what happens with life. Like I was going through a lot of things the past 5 years, and sometimes I would fall off on the discipline, and I just need a little reminder. And boxing was a big reminder of look, you got to stay on top of what you're doing, or you're gonna fall off. And one thing I don't ever want to do is fall off on something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing for taking time off and having to deal with certain things, but you always bounce back because of your discipline. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about it. And again, it truly relates boxing to life. When you talk about discipline, and I say this to all my clients, and I'll constantly preach this in my content and everything is if you do the little things consistently over time, you'll be able to do the bigger things in the whole grand scheme of things. And doing the little things enforce the discipline on like times 10 when you're boxing, because you really have to focus on literally you throw a jab, the shoulder protects you, the backhand is tight, this is straight onto the target, it has to be on target, not off by an inch to the left, to the right, up, down. The details and the discipline behind executing one punch is so like it's so high that you start to look at everything in life with a lot more discipline. Like, okay, like my morning routine, how am I treating this person? How is this person treating me? Who am I surrounding myself with? What does my day look like? How am I executing things? Like, am I doing it with that much focus and discipline? So 1,000,000% agree, bro. Welcome to the Maestre Mentality podcast, where I get to interview some of the dopest individuals that I've met through this amazing journey of life. Individuals with the most amazing stories and plenty of lessons to share. Every single person, though, we have one thing in common that has brought us together. We all have a love for boxing. But it's always been bigger than boxing. On that note, let's get into these stories.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the